really isn't a lot I could say about Mario Kart World that's going to excite you.
Well, to be fair, it's not your job to excite me on a video game that Nintendo is selling. I think that is no one else's job but Nintendo's, and they're doing a pretty shitty job at making me possibly excited for anything surrounding the Switch 2, or console gaming as a whole, I should point out, because of all of their bullshit practices. From charging you $100 additional for the Switch 2 anywhere outside of Japan, in addition to raising the prices of digital and physical games, it just doesn't look all that appealing.
Everywhere I've gone since April 2nd, it's just a bunch of drop the price, Mario Kart World's not worth $80, and...
Well, to be fair, you should be on the same page as everyone here, because you are Nintendo Prime, and you are the one who tweeted this, basically saying that yes, every company should be flagged for raising the prices of video games. Which is ironic, because now you are going to sit here and say, oh well, Nintendo's actually not in the fault for raising the prices of games. Oh, when Sony does it, they're assholes and I'm gonna flame them. But when Nintendo does it, I'm gonna make up a bunch of bullshit to defend them.
Look, now we just had a dedicated Mario Kart World Direct that I absolutely adored and thought was really, really good. Maybe not the greatest Direct ever, of course. I think it's very hard to make that claim because I think about 5 minutes of the Direct out of 15 was kind of wasted, but...
I love how reluctant you are to criticize Nintendo. Like, you literally just admitted that 5 out of 15 minutes, so a third of the overall Direct wasn't very good or didn't meet your expectations, and yet you're still unwilling to say it was bad. Like, this is actually hilarious to me.
That being said, I actually really enjoy everything happening with Mario Kart World, and that sucks about being this person that enjoys this is I can't talk about it without being chastised, without being called a shill, without saying that I'm justifying $80 for all video games.
To be fair, people could be forgiven for thinking that because you are Nintendo Prime. And if we take a look at your YouTube channel, you have uploaded 8 videos in the last 6 days, basically going over any time there's any new news about the Nintendo Switch 2. And I want to point out, there's absolutely nothing wrong for doing that. Like, if you want to make videos about the Switch 2, like, go right on ahead. Like, it's within your right to do so, but you're kind of giving the game away here. Also, dude, you are defending $80 games. Like, you can't pick and choose. You can't just say, oh, I'm not defending every $80 game, guys. No, you are objectively defending Nintendo selling you games for $80. Therefore, by extension, you are defending $80 games. If you were truly objective about hating the whole video games going up in price thing, you would be on the same page as everyone else here. You would be criticizing Nintendo as well, if not more so than other people. But you're not going to do that, are you?
And it's kind of weird because I've actually avoided talking about this price stuff in general at the channel. We've had some light conversations on our podcast, but it's a very touchy subject because in the end, we're talking about money. And we don't all have unlimited amounts of it.
Yes, people don't have an unlimited amount of money, and at the end of the day, some people survive paycheck to paycheck. People have to decide what to spend their money on, and if video games are going up and up in price, funnily enough, less people are gonna play video games and buy them.
And we all have to decide for ourselves what the value of a dollar is. And
no, dollars and pretty much any form of currency for that matter has objective value. Whether it's the Great British Pound, the Euro, the Canadian dollar, the Japanese yen, like every currency has objective value. How we view our money and how we decide what our money is worth is not relevant when we're discussing objective facts. That being that game consoles and game prices are going up.
What is valuable to us on an individual level. And while it could be absolutely a valid argument to say no video game is worth $80.
Yes, you are correct. On launch, at the very least, no game is worth $80. And funnily enough, games become more valuable as time goes on. Not only because of day one patches as well as any other patches the game may receive, but also because of downloadable content, whether it's paid or free, and also the fact that generally speaking, unless you're Nintendo, the market prices of your games goes down as time goes on. And again, you of all people should be on the same page here since you flamed Sony for raising the prices of games to $70 a little while back.
I also feel that That's all about the price you put on your own entertainment.
No, you are wrong. This has absolutely nothing to do with the consumer and what they value from a product. Because if that was the case, then honestly, I would be charging $10 for Nintendo games. Like, whilst yes, they may have fantastic gameplay here and there, the bottom line is that for the longest time, they've ran like shit, like running at 720p 30 FPS on the original Switch. And graphically, whilst they're certainly colourful, they hardly push the boat compared to the rest of the industry. But again, the reason I couldn't possibly agree with this mindset is because you are saying subjective opinion is somehow a defense for objective price hikes. And the reason why I couldn't possibly agree with this is because the price of games doesn't dictate their quality. Take a look at games like Apex Legends or Fortnite or Call of Duty Warzone. It's like, those games are free. Like, they are free to play. But if you were to ask YouTubers like, I don't know, Tim the Tatman or Ninja or something like that, if they would pay money to play Fortnite, given how big those games were for them, they probably would pay money for the game. Because to them specifically, the game was worth quite a lot. It was very successful for their careers and they got a lot out of the game. However, if you were to ask someone like me whether I think the newest Call of Duty games are worth like $80 or what have you, I would say no, to be honest. They're not worth the money. But again, it doesn't matter what I think. Activision and Treyarch and what have you are gonna sell it for $80 anyways.
Look, Nintendo's a multi-billion-dollar company. They're not going to go out of business if they price this game at $60.
Okay, so why isn't the game being sold at $60? Because at the end of the day, it's fucking Mario Kart. Like, it's a spin-off series of Mario, and I don't even think Mario is worth $80, to be honest. Like, no disrespect to the Mario games, they're usually pretty good, but there's no denying the fact that it's pretty much the same shit, different game. But I fucking love this. You're literally saying that Nintendo has nothing to lose by charging the game at $60, yet you're still gonna defend them charging it at $80. And before anyone says, oh, well, US tariffs are the reason why this is the case, Nintendo themselves literally came out and said it has fuck all to do with tariffs. Like, this is one of those rare instances where we need to give Donald Trump a break. Like, tariffs have nothing to do with this. And also, funnily enough, tariffs don't affect digital goods, so why the fuck are Nintendo charging you more for digital goods? And also, hilariously enough, countries other than America exist. Like, US tariffs don't affect the rest of the world. It's all the more funny when Jeremy Clarkson once made a joke about Americans, saying that they only think two other countries exist, Mexico and the moon. And then you have people on the internet basically saying, oh, well, US tariffs are the reason why, you know, the Switch 2 is priced more in countries like Asia, for example. It's like, mate, you're unironically proving Jeremy Clarkson right.
Heck, they wouldn't have gone out of business if they priced the Nintendo Switch 2 at $300.
Okay, if they were pro-consumer then, and if they actually gave a fuck about the consumer and what they want, then they should price the Switch 2 at $350. Is this making sense to you yet?
They could have literally taken a loss and made that all back on software sales of $60, $70, $50 games and been just fine.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Like, your entire video could just end right there. Friendly reminder, your video title is literally I'm done with all of the negativity surrounding the Nintendo Switch 2. Yet here you are openly admitting that, yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2 is taking advantage of customers. You yourself admit, yeah, they could price games at $60 and be completely fine. They could charge the console for $350 and be fine. You yourself are coming out and admitting that, yet you are also gonna bend over backwards and present your plumber pipe to Nintendo anyways. Fuck, you're pathetic.
They would make less money and they would be less successful, but they would also be in a good place. Now,
how the fuck would they be less successful and make less money? And also, funnily enough, you're saying less successful and making less money over selling games for $60 fucking dollars. Like, you're acting as if they're gonna be selling these games for like a $5 or some shit. Like, no, $60 is still a shit ton of money. $350 per console is still a shit ton of money. Which is all the more hilarious because Nintendo was just fine when they were selling the original Switch for like, what, $250? And when they were selling games for $60, $70 on that thing? Like, Nintendo was just fine. I don't understand how Nintendo would all of a sudden be losing a shit ton of money by doing exactly the same thing that they've been doing for like the last 8 years. Also, you do know how economics works, right? Like, if you increase the prices of things, logically speaking, you're gonna see a decrease in the amount of potential customers you have. And vice versa, if you decrease the price of something, you will probably see an increase in the amount of customers you have. It goes up in a ratio.
Would making less money and less successful lead to industry layoffs like everyone else has had to come in their way except for Nintendo? Maybe, or maybe not. It's hard to really know. I think it's okay for corporate entities to not have all of our money.
So why the fuck are you defending Nintendo making more money off of you? You literally just said you would be okay with Nintendo selling you $60 games and a $350 Switch 2. And you even admitted that Nintendo would be just fine financially if they were to do so. And you are now gonna sit here and say, oh, I hate it when people say I'm a shill when I bend over and defend Nintendo. I wonder why people say that.
Right, I totally get that, and that is a very pro-consumer thing.
So by your own logic, Nintendo is an anti-consumer company, yet you're still gonna make tons and tons of videos basically giving them a free hand job every time they create new good news about the Switch 2.
Things should be cheaper for the consumer. Companies don't need to be trillion-dollar companies like Apple and all of that, right? I mean, the irony of me saying that is I'm rocking an iPhone 16 Pro Max, so...
I am so close to tapping out of this. Like, how are you not getting the picture? How are you not seeing how blatantly hypocritical you are? Like, you are saying, oh, Nintendo, these companies like Nintendo, they don't need all of your money, you know? They don't need to be trillion-dollar companies. Oh, well, what about Nintendo charging you $80 for video games? Oh, well, that's not their fault. It all comes down to how you decide how much money is worth to you and whether $80 is worth it to you. You're so fucking dumb.
I'm not gonna sit here and defend Nintendo.
Oh, really now? You're not gonna sit here and defend Nintendo? A YouTube channel called Nintendo Prime, and these are the videos that you made in the last 6 days or so. You're seriously gonna sit here and say you of all people are not gonna defend Nintendo?
Because it's not my job to sell Mario Kart for them. That's their job. And whether or not they have done a good job convincing people to buy Mario Kart World is going to come down to the sales in the end. It's going to come down to your wallets and if you guys decide to spend the money.
And customers are more likely to spend $60 on a fucking Mario Kart game than $80. How are you not getting this?
But what really sucks right now is we're on the precipice of a brand new generation of Nintendo that by all means seems really exciting. If you take the Mario Kart $80 controversy and you set that to the side, you take that and you put it over here, what you're left with is actually a lot of really great things happening.
Wait, so I'm not gonna sit here and defend Nintendo, but if you take literally every negative thing surrounding the Switch 2, put it to one side, forget about it, it never happened, and you just focus on the good stuff, it's actually really good, guys. Oh, I'm not gonna sit here and defend Nintendo, though. Like, are you fucking serious? You wouldn't know self-awareness if it hit you in the face with a fucking mushroom. But anyways, that's pretty much all he talks about. He basically just spends the rest of the video talking about Mario Kart World and the new Donkey Kong game. The fuck is it called? Like Donkey Kong Banana or Bonanza or Billy Big Blue Biased Bollocks? Like, I don't know what the fuck that game's called, but he basically just is exactly what we would expect. Like, this Nintendo fanboy just tried defending $80 games in the worst way possible. And it actually kind of made me a bit mad, if I'm honest, because holy shit, if this is the best that Nintendo has to offer in terms of its defenders, I feel like it's pretty obvious that they're fucked in some regard. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.